Hey everyone, this is Max, just outside doing some errands. It's 6:40 a.m. I wanted to do a quick little video, just to, um, you know me. I always have like little inputs and little thoughts here and there about certain things happening in the community and happening all around the world. So one of these things is I've been hearing a lot about this podcast called Freshandfit. Obviously, I've been previous to it from past situations of theirs in terms of their podcast and the commentary they make. They've had a lot of run-ins with other podcasters, other YouTubers. So you always see the drama with those guys. But recently, they had an issue with a rapper, female rapper named by the name of Asian Doll, and I'm sure you guys seen it. I don't even need to like do the rundown of what it is that what they said and what they did. So I feel like everybody's seen it. I just feel like the commentary on Black women, especially dark skinned women, is just always like unnecessary. Like you're people are always making jokes, and they think it's jokes, but like it's not funny, really. I was having a conversation with my friend, and I said that a lot of people's biases and the way they treat people is in a circle of things of like attractiveness and familiarity. Like when you have familiarity with something, or you have attraction to something, you're more kind and more gentle with it than anything else. And I feel like um, it's just not that way when it comes to when you don't like something. When you don't like somebody, you don't necessarily give a fuck about them or whatever, or you have some kind of resentment or bitterness towards them. You do show the emotions, and I feel like um, that's not talked about enough when in that situation, because people don't necessarily always correlate the two. But to be to be honest, I think that people should correlate the two, because if you're not attracted to something, you don't really care for something, you're not going to show a lot of empathy or sympathy for that object or person. And I feel like that's the problem with this in this situation, where a lot of Black women are trying to convey, when you have that stereotypical thought of what something is, and that's all you base it off of, you're always going to be on the defensive and offensive side of situations when it comes to that certain individual or certain thing. And I do think that's the case with a lot of a lot of situations. Like, for example, like if you are an individual that is, say, more around, say if you're an individual who's white and you're more around people that are Black, your sympathy and empathy will definitely reach farther for them, because of the fact that you have some sort of familiarity with them, right? If you're a Black man who doesn't necessarily like Black women and don't have that same sympathy and familiarity with that spectrum of people, you're going to be less inclined to be gentle, less inclined to be kind at all to that person. So when that young Black lady came back on the podcast, I don't know if you guys seen, she actually came back because they wanted her to somehow, I don't know, they were like, oh, we want you to take accountability and apologize. But if you literally watch the video of the situation between them and Cash Doll, that young lady, the not Black Cash Doll, but the young lady was apologizing, and she apologized literally, I think, like 2 or 3 times. after they were arguing back and forth with Cash Doll, after Myron was arguing back and forth with Cash Doll. And it's like, what was the point of bringing her back to apologize again? For what exactly? Because even when she was trying to explain that, oh, she wanted to have a conversation with Myron afterwards, and how he just wasn't receptive of the situation, he wasn't even letting her speak until tell that part. And there was women on the podcast really gung ho and trying to hold on to the fact that they had this superiority over her. And it's just like, I don't know, like, how that works, because it was very nonsensical at all points. And I think that was just the stupidest thing, to bring her back just to berate her with insults and aggressiveness. Like, it just didn't make sense. And I wish she just would have walked off. Honestly, I wish she just would have fucking walked off the podcast, to be honest, because it was like, what was the point of that? Really, what was the point of that? He just wanted somebody to blame for the situation. But, like, let's be honest, like, you bring a bunch of people to your podcast, women who in all manner of speaking aren't really privy to information about the sexes and the stats between sexes and all this kind of stuff. And then you're asking them questions and you're giving them stats, and they're like looking at you dumbfounded, like, okay. Like, what was the point of that? And then you're on top of that giving them liquor, so they're like, really, and to put even more of a situation is that room that they do the podcast in is so tiny that they're like, I'm a photographer, so I know when somebody's shooting on like a 40 millimeter lens or a 20 millimeter lens. Like, bro, the room is so tiny, so narrow, I should say, so narrow that, like, of course people's mics are going to be literally touching their face. Like, so whatever conversation they're having on the side, you're definitely going to pick up on it. You're definitely going to pick up on it. And I know they have rules about all that, but, like, maybe invest in a better space. Since you talk about so much money that you have and so much investment in this and that, invest in a better space, right? So that way you don't, like, I was also watching Academics, and Academics, I don't know, he's also a podcaster, and I guess you can say media personality. Academics is kind of like sort of friends with them or associates. I don't know what it is. But he also made a comment where, like, when he started bringing celebs on and they started bringing celebs on, Freshandfit would ask them to take off their shoes, right? And all this kind of stuff, because it's their house and they have to clean and all this kind of stuff. It just seems like it's not really the space you're trying to have to invite people over, especially that amount of people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems aggravating. It seems frustrating and if this is your own personal space, it's just like, bro, like, maybe invest in a different space, to be honest. Like, since you have the money you say you do and the properties you have, invest in a different space. I don't know. But that's just my 2 piece and a biscuit. And yeah, I just feel like the commentary and the jokes with black women that black men make, it doesn't make sense to make. Like, I know you think you're trying to be funny, but it's really not all that funny, and this is not just a dig at a lot of black guys. Like, black girls used to make stupid jokes like that about dark-skinned guys all the time when I was younger, right? Where they would join in on other dark-skinned niggas making fun of somebody who's just a shade bit darker than they are in the joke categories. And it's just like, I don't get it. Me and myself being practically a lot darker than most people, it just seems stupid. It seems stupid. It's like, I'm like 2 shades light, haha, you darky, Knight Rider. It's like the jokes were like, oh, not funny. Not funny. And you know what? That's just something that, I think it's okay to have preference. It's totally fine to have a preference, but just say your preference and leave it at that. There's no reason to make digs at other preferences. And it's never like, you ever notice when they say they got a preference, like, I only like white women. I don't mess with darkies. They never say, I only like white women. Man, fuck those Asian chicks. It's never something like that. Like, it's always a dig at black women. Like, if you like white women, then like white women. Keep it at that. If you like Asian women, you like Asian women. Keep it at that. Like, they go, oh, but people always come up with excuses. Like, I see a lot of Asian men and white men and stuff. They have podcasts and they have issues with their race of females. I'm like, yeah, but you don't ever, at least personally, I haven't. I've never heard an Asian guy go, I don't date Asian girls. They're fucking chinks. And then he goes like this and makes a fucking joke out of it. Like, like what? You got eyes just the same way. Like, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, just chill with the jokes, bro. Chill with the jokes, because you look stupid. You look stupid doing that. And I don't know. That's just my 2 piece, honestly. And I just feel like I have to get that off my chest, because, man, it's not only them, but like, man, a lot of these dudes, and to be fair, it's only in the Western world that niggas do shit like this. Like, I don't necessarily hear people from like Africa say this, or people from even the diaspora. But like, when you start going to like America, Canada, and even small bits of Europe, the dudes there are just kind of weird. Like, it's just, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, and I think it's just really dumb. Honestly, it's really dumb. Anyways, that was my input on that. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys have a nice day. It's like 6:50 a.m. right now in Toronto. Yeah. Good morning.